Okay, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive into some really interesting material you shared.
Yeah, it gets right to the core of things, doesn't it? Motivation, purpose.
It really does. And it kicks off with this, well, pretty confronting question, basically. What's your biggest dream?
The really big one.
Yeah.
The one that feels maybe, almost out of reach.
Exactly. And then it layers on this intense pressure cooker scenario. What if you had just 1 year? A single year to get everything you ever wanted done.
And if you failed?
You lose it all. Absolutely everything.
Wow. That's intense.
It is. So the question becomes, in that situation, what would you actually do?
And maybe even more. Who would you have to become to do it?
Right.
And what's fascinating, the material points this out straight away, is how this links back through history.
How so?
Well, it argues that, truly great achievements, big historical moments, they didn't just happen.
They weren't random?
Not at all. They were always tied to these really powerful reasons, big causes.
Like what kind of causes?
Things like intense love or deep fear, pride maybe, even just burning curiosity.
Faith, leaving a legacy, those kinds of things.
Exactly. These weren't just gentle pushes. They were like massive driving forces, powerful currents.
So there was always a strong why behind the what, a fuel.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which leads right to the question for you, listening now.
Yeah, it puts it right to you. What is your reason? What's your cause?
Why do you get up and do what you do every day?
That's something to sit with.
It is. And this is where the material gets kind of challenging, I think.
Yeah.
It introduces this tension,
Right.
this idea that, well, if we're just a blip in the universe, nothing before, nothing after, why bother striving for more?
Right. Why not just be content? Be indifferent, even.
Yeah. Why does this drive to seek more even exist? The source sort of frames it as almost arrogant.
Arrogant to want more when just being could be enough?
Kind of. It really leans into that internal struggle.
It does. And it makes
does.
you look at why you feel that urge for more. Sometimes it suggests it's about needing that external thumbs up, acknowledgement.
Validation, yeah.
Or maybe feeling like a nobody, maybe not successful in the traditional sense, like wealth or status.
And needing to achieve something, anything, just to feel seen.
Yeah, like pinning a different kind of medal on yourself for the world.
But then, and this is where it gets really surprising, the source flips that idea.
Yeah.
It suggests that real fulfillment, it even uses the word bliss, isn't necessarily found after the success.
Not at the finish line.
No, but actually in the struggle, in the day-to-day grind, the purposeful effort.
Like pushing the boulder up the hill, Sisyphus style, but finding meaning in the pushing.
Exactly. That effort isn't just the price you pay, it's where the purpose is actually built.
Wow.
And there's this powerful idea tucked in there. Maybe the real privilege isn't being comfortable.
It's learning to handle discomfort, getting okay with pressure.
Yes. Sitting with the pressure,
Yeah.
becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That leads into another challenging point the material makes about pain.
Ah, yes. Pain. Not just something to avoid.
No, it argues pain can be the single biggest motivator for change.
The price of transformation almost.
Right. It's about finding out, through facing the hard stuff, that you're tougher than you think.
That you won't actually break. Your resilience is greater.
So the discomfort, the effort, they aren't problems to fix. They're part of the process. Features, not bugs.
And to handle all this, the material talks about some really subtle but important mindset shifts.
Okay, like what?
Like learning to be kinder to your failures. Not ignoring them, but not letting them crush you either.
Processing them without being defined by them.
Exactly. And accepting that the future, well, we can't ultimately control it.
That's both scary and maybe freeing.
It can be, yeah. And then there's this paradox, being totally committed, giving your all,
Pouring everything into it.
but at the same time, being completely unattached to the actual outcome.
Whoa, that's a tough one. Fully committed and fully unattached.
It's a delicate balance, definitely.
Yeah.
But the source suggests real freedom is found there.
Okay, so we've got the need for a powerful cause, this tension with just being content, the raw drivers like needing acknowledgement.
Finding bliss in the struggle, pain as a motivator, these specific mindset shifts.
So pulling all that together from the material, what's the final thought for you, the listener?
It leaves us with something pretty profound to mull over, I think.
Yeah.
It asks you to consider, what if you pushed for more, aimed higher, kept growing?
But not because you're hungry or angry or need to prove something,
Exactly. Not out of spite, not to show you're not a nobody.
but purely out of love.
Purely out of love for this one unique temporary life that you have.
Pushing for more out of love for life itself. That's definitely something to think about.